fellas. We can be that mistake. Let's do this. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, guys.
We're Embracing Sec 21.
Yes, we are.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Daniel.
Coming at you, more Stephen Fry.
This time we have something different, a little different,
Yeah.
I think. Stephen Fry on American versus British comedy.
Yeah.
And maybe this will clarify somewhat of how shocked we get sometimes, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
We're like, what are they doing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So maybe this will clarify some stuff. Or
Hopefully.
Not. Or not.
Let's see what General Melchett or
yeah. Let's do it.
What
man.
he has to say. Let's go.
We have time for one more question, which will come from the gentleman there.
You talk about the sense of humour, the American sense of humour, and we haven't really touched, you haven't mentioned so much the British sense of humour, but do you think they differ hugely? And if so, what accounts for that difference?
It's a really good point. I think, it strikes at the heart of what is American optimism is a really important thing, but not only optimism, but a refusal to see oneself in a bad light, or, one could talk about this for far too long, but if you go to an American bookshop, by far the biggest section is self-help and improvement. The idea that life is refinable and improvable, and that you can learn a technique for anything, whether it's lovemaking, being a businessman, a marriage, cooking, losing weight, whatever it is, there's an NLP way of doing it, there's an Anthony Robbins way of doing it, there's a things they didn't teach you at Harvard way of doing it. There's an unbelievable sense that life is improvable, that you can be lectured at, or indeed given a sermon at, it's the Protestant base of America, that things are done by text and by works, as opposed to by submission and by, a doctrine in the way that the higher church, European, rump, we still believe. And there is a sense of original sin in Europe. I mean, this is a bizarre theory that I won't push to its limit, but when it comes to comedy, it's satisfactorily, I think, obvious that the American comic hero is a wisecracker who is above his material and who is above the idiots around him. And the British comic, put it this way, the American comic hero, like John Belushi or someone like that, that scene in Animal House where there's a fellow playing folk music on a guitar, and John Belushi picks up the guitar and destroys it. And the cinema loved it because he just smashes it and then waggles his eyebrows at the camera. And everyone says, God, he's so great. Well, a British comedian would want to play the folk singer. We want to play the failure. All the great British comic heroes are people who want life to be better and on whom life craps from a terrible height, and whose sense of dignity is constantly compromised by the world letting them down. They want to wear a tie. They're not quite smart enough to wear an old school tie because they're kind of lower middle class. They are Arthur Lowe in Dad's Army. They are Anthony Aloysius Hancock. They are Basil Fawlty. They are Del Boy. They are Blackadder. They're not quite the upper echelons, and they try to be decent and right. Everything tries to be proper. They're even David Brent from The Office. And their lack of dignity is embarrassing. They are a failure. They are an utter failure. They're brought up to expect empire and respect and decency and being able to wear a blazer in public, and everyone around them just goes whereas the American hero is the smart talking, he's Jim Carrey and he's Ben Stiller and he's whoever, he just goes all the way back. They can wisecrack their way out of any situation. They win the girl, they're smarter, they've got the biggest knob in the room. The British guy arrives in the room and says, oh my God, I've left my knob behind. I haven't even got one. And in a sense, comedy is the microcosm that allows us to examine the entire difference between our two cultures. Ours is bathed in failure, but we make a glory of our failure. We celebrate it. We love the fact that every great British comic hero can go into a dictionary. He's a bit of a Basil Fawlty. He's a bit of a Captain Mannering. He's a bit of a Steptoe. He's a bit of a Baldric. He's a bit of a Blackadder. He's a bit of a this. They're characters that we recognise, all of them so flawed as to be an utter disaster. But you can't do that with American comedy. You can't say he's a bit of, who's that chap in Friends, or he's a bit of a, it doesn't really work. They're not characters at all. They're just brilliant repositories of fantastic killer one-liners.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, it's quite an interesting take. I hadn't really.
We
Yeah, I'm gonna need a second for that one.
I feel like the cultural differences are huge.
Yeah. It's like it takes me back to the Al Murray versus American deal, like having the American dream and the whole idea that everything can be better. And like, yeah, I mean, like, we find it funny in America when someone shits on someone who's stupid, and in Britain, you know, it's the dumb person that that is the funny one.
It's just interesting. There's a lot to break down.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than this video's worth to break down. It's definitely, there is a cultural difference for sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Because of that. Because and it's funny because now I can understand the Blackadder reference.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, now I see that one because I didn't know anyone else he mentioned, which is probably like a sin because I don't know anyone that he just mentioned.
Yeah, I guess there's more rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah, but the Blackadder one, I'm like, all right. And then the other, the American comics, I'm like, what are the differences? I'm like, oh, one's a hero or a unsuspecting hero, but ends up being heroic in their sense of the plot of anything.
Yeah.
And one is a hero that gets shat on.
Right.
That
Like Blackadder, yeah. Like the dude has like things in his nostrils, and he's just
he's trying to get out.
He's trying to
get out of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and trying to do the dignified thing, but getting shit on.
Yeah.
Whereas he is, yeah, I get it. There's a lot to unpack, and we are not even scratching a surface of a monumental iceberg.
Yeah. I mean, this could be like a 20, 30-minute video.
Easy.
It could be an hour video.
Easy.
But
especially on our thoughts.
Yeah.
But this is great. Stephen Fry, you know, it's always, I feel like this is going to be, this is good. That there is something that seriously attacks both points.
Yeah. It makes
Not
us
in a funny way, but just
think.
like, hey, this is probably the differences.
Yeah.
And from a comedian, I'm assuming one of the greats.
Yeah, a comedic mind.
Yeah, comedic mind.
Yeah.
He's giving his take.
Yeah.
And it should be thought of seriously.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's very interesting. It's a good, it opens the mind a little bit more.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that happens on our channel is
Yeah.
opening that mind a bit.
Yeah, a little bit more, little by little.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And for that, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
Let us know more, just kind of Stephen Fry to tackle.
And let us know your thoughts on
Yeah.
why we're different.
Yeah.
Serious thoughts.
Yeah.
On why we're different.
We may go through your comments and make a podcast
we
episode
could.
about it.
We could.
It's a possibility.
Let us know.
Yeah. In the meantime, thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell, and sharing with your friends.
Definitely.
Till next time, wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your ass, blow your nose.
And embrace the suck, guys.
See you next time.
Later.